Like how you came to be at this retreat and what was the steps along the way that brought you here?
Yes, I've got secondary progressive MS. I got MS about 25 years ago, was diagnosed, and 3 years ago I was diagnosed as progressive. For a long time it was very stable. But having become progressive, I started to look for answers. I found Lisa Bailey Health and went to her for advice, and she became a friend, and together we discovered carnivore eating. And then I discovered paleomedicina in Hungary. So 15 months ago I started eating their PKD, which is the paleo ketogenic diet, and I had my consultation with them by Skype, and have been following. I've been a patient with them for that time. So of course, with Shafaya coming here to give a presentation, I wanted to meet her, and that's really why we both came.
So what benefits have you personally experienced, and changes have you noticed?
So I started PKD eating in March 2018, and in the first 6 months I got a noticeable benefits. I quite quickly got day-long energy, which I didn't have before. I used to have to rest in the afternoons, and fatigue is a common problem with multiple sclerosis. But now I've got day-long energy. I can even, I've got day-long energy. So that was one major benefit, which was really nice. Another one was tolerance to heat. Again, with MS sufferers, that's a common problem. You can't take baths, hot baths anymore, can't sit out in the sun. But I can sit out and enjoy the sun now, which is really lovely. And last year in Scotland, we had our hottest summer for a long time, so that was really nice. And also my left foot turned in and rolled out, and it had been doing that for about 2 years, and that's gone away. So that's wonderful, because obviously it improves my walking. And I do feel, I'm very sure that it has halted the progression of the MS, because I can still walk the same distances that I could a few years ago, which is really nice. I started eating a little too much protein inadvertently after the first 6 months, but I'm now back on track, having had another consultation with Shafaya Clements, Dr. Shafaya Clements at Paleomedicina, because your blood work reveals everything, and I was eating too much protein. Because you have to limit protein, limit the quantity of food, and up the fat.
So this is, you've been doing this now for six months?
15, 16 months,
15,
yes.
16 months, and
yep.
within 6 months you were noticing these
yes.
changes?
Yeah. So I've now got high ketones over 2, and my blood glucose is below 4, which is a requirement for their protocol.
So do you feel hopeful that these changes that you noticed are going to keep moving forward, and you're going to have further benefits?
Yeah, I'm always hopeful. Yes, I do. Now that I'm back on track with lowering the protein and upping the fat, yes, I do. I felt well ever since starting the protocol, and obviously that's good. And I sleep really well. So yes, I'm hopeful that there will be further changes. But I have had MS for a very long time, so I don't have unrealistic expectations.
Things are just changing really fast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to undo. For people who don't know, can you describe what it's like to live with this condition, just on a daily basis, and how it affects the quality of life?
Well, I was an outdoor person. I rode, I hill walked, and I can't do any of that now. I still walk, because I enjoy walking, and I walk for about a mile or so each day. But it's not so easy because my left foot drags, and once one leg starts to be less able, it has a knock-on effect with all your joints on your other leg. So my walking is limited. I have trouble gardening because that was another really passion of mine, because I can't get up and down easily. I think I'm probably one of the luckier ones with MS, because a lot of people with secondary progressive are in wheelchairs by now. So whether I'm just luckier or it's because I have really tried to maintain my health ever since I was diagnosed, actually, I don't know. But certainly I wish I'd known about eating meat and organ meats and fat much, much earlier. And I think that would have made a huge difference if I'd known about it. But of course there wasn't the internet 25 years ago. I think if it's caught, I don't know, I just feel that if it's caught early and you adopt this way of eating, I feel sure it would have a much bigger effect. And also, I'm 68, so age isn't on my side. I think if you're young and you've got MS and you tackle it with this diet, I think that would make a big difference.
What are the standard treatments for MS, and what were you doing under advisement of your doctors? Like, what were they telling you to do?
Well, 25 years ago, I had about a quarter of an hour appointment that told me after an MRI scan that I had MS. And he kept looking at his watch, and that was it, basically. And I was on my own, because I wasn't expecting a sort of news like that. And I said, "Oh, what can be done about this?" And he said, "Nothing." And that was it. So out I went, reeling. It was extraordinary. And he said, "Oh, you did say, do you want to come back every 6 months?" And I said, "Well, what for? Because you've just said there's nothing that can be done." And he said, "I don't know, just to sort of see me." And I said, "Well, I don't see the point." I was actually getting cross with him. So I said, "Well, I don't see the point." And off I went. And I didn't see a doctor about my MS until I realized about 5 years ago that things weren't quite right. I was losing energy, I was finding things an effort to look after my horse. I was also finding it difficult riding my horse, you know, getting on and off. And so after a couple of years, I did go to the GP and said, I think I need to see the neurologist. The next neurologist I saw was extremely nice, and I can't remember how he described me, but he said I was obviously sort of very self-sufficient. But he said there was nothing that he could do. So whether it was my type of MS, I think when you're secondary progressive, I do think apparently there's no drugs or anything. Not that I probably would have taken them, but when I was diagnosed 25 years ago, I don't think there were the drugs around that there are now. Or else he didn't think I merited them, I don't know.
Did anyone ever talk to you about your diet?
Oh no. No. Diet doesn't come into it. What? No. I think at some point, I think the specialist that I saw that told me I was now in the progressive stage said don't overdo exercise. He did say that. But that's all the advice that he could give. He was very sympathetic, he was really nice, and I know that if there'd been something, he would have put me, you know. So he directed me to a clinic which to stay in the loop for when I become bad and need help. He directed me to a clinic, and I see a neurologist there once a year for half an hour. The first time I went, he spent a good 10 minutes telling me about his son with eczema. And he watches you walk up and down and suggests some physio and things, and that's about it.
So did this then make you want to go onto the, well, you said the internet wasn't around at that time, but like later on to go explore all
absolutely.
The alternatives?
Yeah, sorry,
what
yes.
Did you try?
Yes, so as soon as I was diagnosed progressive, and of course the internet was there then, I was straight on researching, and I found a lot of information, some of it alarming, and some of it but some of it useful, and so I was sort of directed more to finding out about diet. So I started, I think it was Dr. Paul Jaminet and his wife's diet, the Perfect Health diet, which is a paleo diet. So I followed that for a couple of years. And yes, it's a sort of conventionally healthy diet, but there were supplements involved. Then I discovered Terry Wall's diet, the Paleo Plus. She's got 3 levels, and Dr. Terry Walls herself recovered from MS, but amazingly quickly. So I did follow her diet, and I was very hopeful about that, and I followed her version of Paleo Plus, but it had absolutely 0 effect on me, because it's, yes, you're in ketosis, but it's plants, but yes, there is meat, but there's an awful lot of plants. And and it made no difference. I mean, I felt great, but it made no difference. And I'm amazed how people apparently recover on Wald's diet. Because when I discovered Paleomedicina, which is now called the ICMNI in Hungary, I had to remove all plants straight away. And it's meat, fatty meats, organ meats and fat. And Dr. Shafia Clements says it's not possible to recover with plants in the diet. You were already very deep into diet as a way to help. From those, you were quite convinced that there was a strong link between diet and your. Your health. Yes. I mean, I have actually always been interested in diet. I just always have. But what I thought was healthy 25 years ago was all the whole grain cereals, the whole grain bread. But I've never been a vegetarian, I've never been a vegan, thank gosh. I've always eaten meat, fish and eggs. But what was considered healthy then, I now know isn't healthy now. But of course, everybody who thought they were eating healthily were eating these grains, you know, whole wheat things.
Right, it's all about the whole wheat, right?
Yes,
yeah. And roughage and all that.
Yeah.
So is it difficult to follow? It seems quite a strict diet, this PKD diet.
No, I love it. And I found it very easy because just before PKD, I found Paleomedicina. I was my friend Lisa Bailey from Lisa Bailey Health discovered carnivore eating, and I said, "Oh, that sounds interesting." So I was eating it for a couple of months beforehand, but big steaks and, you know, lots of ribeye and stuff, and eating too much basically, and I could feel my weight going up because I've got to lose about a stone in weight to be healthier, and Paleomedicina want me to lose that, and obviously it would make my movement easier. Yes, so when I first started PKD, I was allowed 400 grams of food a day, split into 2 meals, and of that, each meal is a third fat. But it's the fat that's the clue, the key to feeling full. And I'm eating way less than that now. Sometimes I have 330 grams in a day of food, total food, and I'm not hungry, really, and it's because of the fat. So you're eating 2 to 1, 2 fat to 1 protein in grams, and I'm not hungry. It's amazing, because I was tucking into steaks and things.
So Dorothy, you're having these really quite remarkable changes in your condition from what you were told was completely incurable and hopeless. Right?
Yeah.
And so in the world of MS, is this something that's getting out into the community of MS or the medical community around it? Or is this sort of staying a well-kept secret?
Yes, it's a well-kept secret. It's not out there. I don't go on the MS sites very much because when I was first diagnosed 25 years ago, of course I went on and went to one meeting of MS patients. It was so negative. I found it really unpleasant. the negativity, and the meetings mixed people who were newly diagnosed with people who were in wheelchairs and had a stoma, and I thought that was horrific, and I actually told the doctor that was hosting it that that was really wrong, because there was some very newly diagnosed people, and they were so, you could see the look on their face that they were so shocked, and it didn't mean to say that they would become progressive, I don't think. So I thought that was quite wrong. So I didn't go to another meeting, and it was, at the time, it was pretty much the same on the websites. People, no, it wasn't, it couldn't have been websites. Oh, on the, sorry, I can't, yeah, sorry, I can't remember if 25 years ago I was on a website or not, but things were very negative, so I...
you just kind of kept it to yourself?
Oh, yeah, I thought the whole thing was awful. And no help, there wasn't sort of help about diet or exercise or anything. So I sort of forgot about it, because after the initial problems which revealed that I had MS, those went away, and I thought I had a very mild form of MS for about 20 years. So it was only 5 years ago, I was really lucky, so it was only 5 years ago that things became a problem.
And how have your friends and loved ones reacted to this change in you?
Well, because I'm still able to walk in a fashion, and I do a daily walk with my husband, nobody really mentions it.
So this has been a very, very private journey for you, it seems.
It has actually, because, yes.
Has that been difficult at times?
Yeah.
So does it mean something to be part of a community of people who are living this way of life that you can talk to about this?
Yes, it's been lovely, yeah. Because I actually haven't got any relatives now, they've all gone. But my husband's family and friends, apart from Lisa, never mention it. Not that they need to, but, and my husband never really refers to it either, but just sometimes it is nice when somebody asks you, you know, how are you doing? But I've got Lisa, who I see each week, and I have an exercise time with her, and we, you know, we're friends, so that's great. So I can moan to her.
And what will you, this is my last question for you, what you feel you're going to take away from this retreat, from this weekend?
I think...
what's it been like for you? What's the experience been like, and what's the lasting impression?
It's been lovely, because you've met so many nice people, and it's extraordinary the variety of illnesses and conditions that people have and the issues they've faced. And of course you learn a lot from them, you know, and you get a lot of information about various things, everything from blue blockers to beds that people have. So it's a fund of information. And of course the lectures have been terrific. I really liked Dr. Shafia Clement's talks, and Paul Maybury's, and Graeme Norbury's were particularly. Graeme Norbury's was very illuminating, because I've never been able to understand Jack Kruse, but he simplified it so much that it was understandable.
It's a perfect word to describe. It's illuminating. We really love that. So thank you so much, Dorothy. That was lovely, and you're a star.
Thank you.